Hello and welcome back to the What's True Health podcast. I'm joined by Henry, as always.
Hi everyone.
And today we're going to be talking about all things uni related, basically the first year experience. We'll be talking about subjects, like different pathways and just different degrees in general.
Yeah. We'll talk about the whole sort of scope of the degrees that fall under health science at Sydney University, and probably in about 10 minutes, we'll have a student come in, Maxwell Halen, who's quite interesting, and he'll tell his story about exercise science, and we'll also talk about exercise physiology.
Yeah, perfect. Ourselves. Because then we get like both sides of the coin, you know?
Yeah. All right.
And then, okay, so what do you want to start with? Do you want to start with our subjects first, or
first of all,
degrees?
Yeah, degrees. I reckon degrees. Like,
okay.
At Sydney Uni, I think, basically they offer exercise physiology. So it's a Bachelor of Applied Science, first of all these subjects. All these degrees, yeah.
Degrees, yeah.
And they offer exercise physiology, exercise and sports science, and then other degrees that aren't related to the applied science, that like physio, OT, speech path, all that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like radiology and stuff like that, but which we don't really know much about.
No.
But yeah,
in terms of common subjects, physio, exercise physiology, and exercise science, they all have like common first year subjects.
Exactly. First, second, third year subjects, all pretty much the same.
Yeah.
So let's just break down each one of those. So exercise physiology, right? This could be a whole podcast on its own, difference between all the different subjects.
Yeah, people find difficulty knowing what's the difference.
Yeah, it's not really clear. What they say, okay, this is what they say. They say EPs basically treat chronic conditions, and it's more sort of elderly population with chronic conditions like diabetes, obesity.
It's more clinical.
Yeah, clinical sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just using exercise as medicine to treat those conditions and improve quality of life sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then sports science is more working with professional athletes and trying to improve performance. That's pretty much
it's more
what it is, right?
Yeah, tailored to just performance and stuff like that, and analysing data, and sort of you become a sports scientist as the name, you know.
But that's what they say, but what actually happens out there, I don't think that's true. There's no clear borders, right? No. There's a lot of EPs that cross into like physio territory and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, we're at a time when exercise physiology is a growing thing. Like, it's not that well known amongst the health community. There's not a lot of exercise physiologists out there because it's a growing area of study and profession. But it definitely is growing fast.
Yeah, for sure.
It's being recognised, I think, a lot more.
I think the problem is because we're so new, like EPs don't know what the territory is, and other degrees are worried that we might be taking some of their space.
Yeah, well, if you look at it for face value, like exercise, EP works off exercise prescription. Mm-hmm. Like, it works improving health through exercise and the importance of exercise and how exercise can be used to benefit an individual. But physio for face value is like, acute treatment. We'll touch on this more later, but an aspect of physio is exercise prescription. So there is a bit of debate and a bit of hot water between the two professions in terms of sort of overlap and whether they want to work together or stuff like that. So
physios treat more acute injuries, like if you got a recent ankle sprain, just trying to manage it. So in order to do that, they use more
manual therapy.
Therapy, like temporary solutions, sort of thing, like taping, stuff like that. You see physios do more of that sort of thing to help injuries in the short term,
and then they supplement it with exercise prescription. But they're not as, I would say, they're not as, like, that's obviously an aside. That's not their focus point, is exercise prescription. So that's sort of where EPs can benefit and sort of can help out because they're so well. Yeah,
remember one of our last semester, one of our tutors said that EPs know exercise better than any other profession. I think it was Che, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I think that rings true. Right?
No, it is. It definitely is. Yeah, and we'll talk more about that in later episodes.
Yeah, that we're just touching on it now.
Yeah.
But it's a big topic, right?
Yeah.
We'll save that for another podcast. But back to uni, right? We've
back
addressed
to our
all the
subjects.
degrees.
Yeah.
So do you want to start with first semester? How?
Yeah. Okay.
Like, what were the subjects? What were your feelings?
First semester's like it's the same. You're doing the exact same subjects as physio, exercise science, and you're sort of thrown straight into the deep end with sort of all the heavy subjects. Require a lot of it's a lot of high volume subjects like anatomy. You've got body systems, which is all about sort of fundamentals of all the sorts of main body systems, which is very interesting.
Yeah, I like
enjoyed
that
it a
one
lot.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anatomy is very full on in terms of like you're having to basically in 13 weeks like learn the whole body.
Yeah.
Like it's a great challenge. You're learning basically bones, muscles, structures, joints, everything in 13 weeks, the whole body. So it's very, very beneficial, I think, for our studies if you apply yourself. And other than that, we had what were the other two? Do you want to say the other two?
Okay. And the last two were, we get one elective, which we picked body clock and athletic performance, which is like...
Right, yeah, that was interesting.
How does your circadian rhythm affect your performance during different activities, stuff like that? That was really interesting, right?
It's all about basically sleep and performance and the importance of your body clock.
That was really useful, I think, in
very fascinating.
Changing my understanding of how sleep plays a role.
Yeah.
And also the last subject, introduction to exercise science.
Yeah, well, that's a core subject for. So this is where you differ from physio. Is exercise science and EPs do the fourth subject, which is the fundamentals of exercise science. Exercise science, which is different to physios. Physios do, I think.
I don't even know.
Correct me if I'm wrong. They do. It's like some sort of.
Do they do neuro?
Yeah, some sort of neuro or introduction to physio type thing.
Yeah.
But that's where it differs. It's one subject.
We need to get a physio on, I reckon.
Yeah, we do.
We do need to get a physio on to find out more.
Yeah. But, yeah, that subject was sort of, I wouldn't say it's basic, but it's
just data analysis and applying it to science, into sport sort of thing. So it's like, we had lots of pracs. We had to collect data about heart rate.
Yeah, well, it covered what all things exercise scientists do. Like
I like that one because it gives you a good understanding of what a sports scientist does. Is you just collect data and then interpret the data from performance, right?
Yeah, and you look at like all the measurements like VO2, all the indicators for exercise and stuff like that, and prescription. It gets you an introduction to that. Yeah, so we've actually got Maxwell Halen. Yeah. He's just arrived.
Our guest just walked in.
First guest of the podcast.
Exactly.
He's actually an exercise scientist. He's going to come in now. He's not an exercise scientist.
Trying to be an exercise scientist.
Welcome to the podcast, Max. How's it going?
Thank you, boys, for having me. I appreciate it.
Welcome. Yeah. So this is our friend and fellow student. He's doing exercise science, and he's I think he's enjoying it.
It's a bit of a change compared to what I was studying beforehand in the US, but
tell us about your story.
Oh yeah, please tell us more.
So pretty much, comes with the shirt. I went to University of North Carolina in America, and I was playing American football and running track and field over there. I was pursuing the path of, as any young man would, just trying to pursue the path of being an athlete, and was working my way into the team. Unfortunately, leaving the details out of it, suffered a pretty gnarly injury and then was forced into retirement. And at the time, I was studying business and photography, but that injury completely changed my mind, and I'd realized that I want to be around the world of sport for as long as I can. So rather than use my body, use my head for it. And it was a long and difficult process of rehabilitation. And I've only just come back to, I'd probably say, an active lifestyle in the last year now. So that's added to my drive and want to for studying in exercise and sports science, and want to be involved in the field of rehabilitation for athletes, whether professional or semi-professional, and going into research supplements.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of where it's brought me today at Sydney Uni, and with you boys here, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It's been one hell of a good ride so far.
Cool.
We got one semester down, got a
few more to go.
Few more to go. But yeah, a few more weeks left in the semester. But yeah, I'm just I'm glad to be on the podcast with you guys today, and thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
No worries.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people don't coming into exercise science, they don't know where they can end up with it. They're not sure like the opportunities they can get out of it. So
Yeah.
what are your goals with it? Like what do you want to do with exercise science?
Well, I know it's out of the few degrees that are offered here in that exercise science sort of realm, with you guys going down exercise physiology, I'm taking a bit of a different approach. It's definitely I feel that it's more of an open major. It doesn't necessarily hit you up with the greatest opportunities out the gates once you leave.
Yeah, well, I think that's what people don't see. They don't know straight off the bat that it's not just becoming an exercise scientist. There's how many, like you've got so many electives to choose from.
Oh, there's so many. Like
you can tailor the course to whatever you want to do.
Yeah, you can tailor it to whatever you want. And I mean, since I'm wanting to go down the field of supplement research, I'm adding in a nutrition major. So with exercise science, the first year I'm taking similar courses as you lot. But then after that, I go down a completely different field.
Yeah.
And it's really, I like it because it gives you more choice as to, you can tailor your studies and what your profession is to however you like. But at the same time, that does pose a bit of a danger. Like if you're not taking it head on and you're not giving it everything you've got, there's definitely some bumps that you'll hit along the way.
Yeah, okay.
It's definitely a double-edged sword, I reckon. It's good in that
it's you're thrown straight into the deep end. Like there's so much to choose from or so much to pick that you don't like. I
think it's good for people who they know they want to be in the health space.
Yeah.
They like sport and all that sort of stuff, but maybe they don't know exactly what they want to do, and maybe EP is too much of a jump for them.
Yeah, it's
Sport
a great
science
start.
would be good because you get to choose all these majors, all these minors, and really make it unique. So by the time you come out, you got a really unique skill set, which you can do like whatever you want with it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it sets you up for so many different pathways.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean?
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's a good major, but I mean, it's definitely when talking with other people taking exercise science, I know that especially in our cohort, there's quite a few people that have no clue what they want to do with the major. So it was like, I was even talking with Janelle Guilford, the head of exercise science.
Yeah.
I had a meeting with her, and we were talking about the specific areas that I want to go down. She goes, "Yep, I only know one other person that's currently at this university doing the same thing, and that's me." I was like, "Okay, great. Well, that it makes it a bit of a unknown and a bit of a scary feeling, but at the same time, there's like adventure, and like, it just goes to show that there's still so much that's unknown out there.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with exercise physiology. I mean, I get why you guys are doing this podcast as well. Like, there's not much information that's really out there to the public that's in a way that everyone can understand.
Yeah, exactly.
And so the promotion of what really health is I love it. I love to see it, and I'm happy to be a part of the process every now and then.
Yeah,
of course, mate.
Yeah, we'll get Max on as much as we can.
Exactly.
His busy schedule.
But that's the problem with. So yeah, in that way, sports science is really good. You get to do whatever you want, but then it's also, if you don't take initiative, it can lead you to a dark place. You know, if you just stay with the program, just go with the flow.
You've got to apply yourself,
get credits or whatever.
Yeah.
And then by the time you come out, you have no clue what you want to do, unless you're really lucky and have connections in the sports team or something like that. There's a good chance you'll become like unemployed or find a hard time finding employment. I think.
Yeah, right? Well, there's a fine line. But like a lot of people who do graduate from exercise science, they find it hard to get employment, stuff like that.
Well, that's what I've heard.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that's actually the case.
Oh no, but it definitely is.
From who I've spoken to, that's the case, because obviously it's like a very open field.
It's very
And
saturated.
Very
as well. A lot
saturated.
of
So many
in
people
there.
do exercise science.
So you got to find something that makes you unique, right?
Yeah,
and
you
I
gotta
think that's
find
what
a
Max
niche.
is doing right.
Yeah.
He found something that he likes. He's chasing that, and then that makes him much more employable to someone else, and he can go down his own field, right?
Yeah.
How many nutritional sports scientists are there? There's not many.
Yeah.
Right?
You got to separate
Very
yourself.
few. So that's amazing, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it's definitely very niche. You got to have a set goal in mind and get right on top of it. I mean, for me, of course, my aim long term is to finish my studies here and then get back to the US, work with football, whether that's collegiate or professional. And I mean, there's so much research that can be done in those aspects. Like a lot of those guys, some of those guys are top level elite athletes, but they're one prime example, Ocho Cinco. He was an amazing wide receiver, but this dude somehow had a crazy metabolism and would eat McDonald's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And this dude broke records on records on records on records and would dust people.
That's
This guy
crazy.
would fly by them. It's like if you put in, maybe not necessarily throw a massive curveball and change his diet in a certain way, but if you throw in some supplements here and there, because he was taking nothing. The dude wasn't drinking water either. This guy was just a genetic freak. So you've got so many of these examples in the NFL where if you get the right stuff in their bodies, or even just a little bit, or even when they're coming off of a rehabilitation, change the way that their body's set up just a little bit, or the way that they're training, and just help them develop a long-term plan, a long-term career in the NFL. I feel like that's a big thing in the NFL that can be worked on, because you're getting guys, especially like I know to you guys this is a different language, but like you've got running backs, like a halfback in rugby. These guys are taking hit after hit after hit after hit, and they're getting like 3-year careers. When the position back in the day, when it was a little more simplified, they were getting about 7 or 8. So they're players' health is falling behind the sport. And so that actually needs to be picked up from a scientific aspect and in the back offices. And that's where I would like to be involved with research and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, I think to tie that into our course here is the good thing about Sydney Uni is they offer such good research opportunities in terms of honours and stuff like that. So you can incorporate honours with both courses. And, touching on that sort of tackling and, contact sport is, like where I'm seeing studies show up where we can even participate. Like they offer a lot of of opportunities. Even like there was some tackling study they were doing with rugby players up in
the Knights.
Yeah, up in the biomechanics lab in this building, actually, the Susan Wakel building. And it's really, really fascinating the amount of research going on here, and that sort of,
Yeah, there's a very active approach to studies here, and they're very involving with all the students, whether they've got much experience in the field or not. I mean, they're just trying to pave the way for new scientists to come forward, add their own things in, because I mean, one brain is not going to be able to work alone. Everyone's got to work together at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's good that we've all created a group here as well, and we'll keep moving forward.
That's definitely a good tip. Is come in with a goal of first establishing a strong,
for sure.
Find like people and make good friends. You can work together, because that's the most sort of important thing in the uni experience, is having those people close to you and having people to work around and talk to, and make podcasts
And
like this.
Side note, don't make friends at in societies, okay? That's just my anecdotal opinion, right? If you're gonna make friends, make them through tutorials or pracs, get to know people, because when I started, I had no friends, right? And I wanted to make some friends. And then I went to one or two of these societies. Maybe it's because I don't drink, but so many people just start it's not.
Well, you need to find people people. That's
it just depends on the person you are, then, right?
Yeah.
If you're someone who does like that sort of party lifestyle, yes, you can make friends. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. But then maybe if you're someone like me who is a bit nerdy, wants to actually talk about research and stuff like that, maybe you're not going to find it there. Maybe I was looking in the wrong place. But just be aware that there's different ways to go about it.
Yeah,
find the one that suits you.
There's always great opportunities to find people that are interested in this, and that's the beauty of studying something that you love, is you'll find people who have the same passion for that thing.
Yeah,
and you'll share so many similarities.
Exactly. By studying the degree, you're in the right place to find those sorts of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like if you look at the four of us as well. I mean, of course, Edward, you can't see him right now.
Oh yeah, we need to give him a little intro. So Edward Kim is another. You may have seen him in the previous episode in the video. We forgot to introduce him, but he's an exercise scientist as well. But he's just the sound engineer at the moment. Yeah, he's happy to just.
Well, one day we'll get him on though. We'll convince him.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah. But I mean, like if you look at the four of us, all four of us have come from very high levels of athletic backgrounds. I mean, Ed was playing volleyball. You've got football, real football, European football,
soccer for those.
I've got track and field, American football, and you got calisthenics. It's all they're very different and diverse sports, but we've all been able to correlate them, bring them together. And I feel like even in a day-to-day life, we learn quite a bit from each other, that we're all pursuing different fields professionally, long-term. But at the moment, we're able to just put our brains together. And like even with a lot of our group work and everything, cooperation and being able to just bounce off of one another, because I feel like, I don't know, there's the academic side of us, but there's also the athlete in all of us.
Exactly.
Of course, we're not competing in a sport during our degree. It's not what we're here to do. Yeah. But we're able to compete and use our brain in that way. We want to get the highest grades possible. And I mean, if you look at us, this isn't just boosting our egos or anything. But after about 8 months of taking this course, I'd say we've set ourselves aside in almost every class as being the hardest workers.
Yeah.
And I feel like that stems from athletic backgrounds and just wanting to be the best.
Yeah. Exactly. It's about the people who you surround yourself with. We all wanted to do really well. Yeah. And like, for example, if I don't know something, I'll ask Max or Henry, and then they'll explain. But then maybe I'll think I'm right, and we'll keep talking, and then finally
discussion.
We just always have discussions about this sort of thing, and it just makes us better practitioners in the long term by having that sort of critical thinking.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's great.
But I mean, like, don't get us wrong, we're all stubborn as all hell. Like we
especially me. Yeah, you guys know.
We know. You'll only accept the answer if there's like 5 different studies that have been done by something, and you'll prove us wrong. You send it in the group chat every single time, and I mean, sometimes we'll be right, sometimes we'll be wrong, and then if there's nothing in there, there'll be like a bit of a stalemate. We go, oh,
yeah, we don't. Yeah,
we'll leave that for later.
Yeah. That's something we'll pick up later on.
But that is science, isn't it? Right? Yeah. There's always that. There's people who say there's always one side of the argument, the other side. Sometimes no one knows.
Just constantly trying to find what's the truth. You know?
Yeah, like exactly. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the unknown. And I mean, that's what we're here to discover as well whilst we study.
Yeah. Exactly. And for us, it's, I guess you could say we're nerdy, sort of. We're taking the university experience very seriously. Like
it's true.
Because I guess we come in with the shared mindset that we want to make the most of what we pay and stuff like that. But it's fine to not do that. It's fine to be students who don't, who want to get passes and stuff like that. That's totally fine. But it's just,
especially if you're in a situation where like you're working full time and stuff like that. That's hard. Like for me, I don't work. I can do whatever all day. That's why I put all my energy into this, right? Yeah, but I can definitely understand other people who don't ever that way.
Yeah, that's why we want to get in people like, say, Ane, who have a different approach to university, and it'll be interesting to see and talk about the different approaches.
Exactly.
And see what works for some people and what doesn't, because everyone's different. Everyone has a different approach.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know. The 4 of us haven't even met really outside of uni.
Well, that's
8 months.
That's part of our positional. Our position in Sydney. Yeah, Max is in.
That doesn't help.
Max is in. It's like a triangle. Yeah, Max is in Manly. I'm in eastern suburbs, and Victor's out west.
Yeah.
So it's
hard, but
during breaks, obviously we'll meet up and do some stuff. But it's hard during the semester because of how far away we are.
Yeah, that and also it's a very dense course. Yeah, dense heavy studies.
Oh yeah.
We don't have many free days.
No.
Almost none, really. But that's the way we set it up.
Weekends aren't really much of a break. It's just like sit
revision.
Down and study, revise, get ready for the next test the following week. But I mean, at the same time, that's not a complaint or anything. It's just reinforcing the information that we need to hold on to.
It from high school to uni, I found that. Like high school, I was doing that same sort of stuff, like especially during HC, like over the weekend doing all this work. But I hated it because I was learning stuff that I didn't want to learn. But now as that I've come to uni and I'm actually enjoying all this stuff.
Yeah,
I'm learning. I'm studying until 9, till 10, whatever during the weekends. But I enjoy it, which is it's a very different feeling.
It's a different experience.
Yeah.
that's what people can look forward to. Anyway, we've got a tutorial to get to.
Yeah.
We've got to wrap it up. But thank you for joining again for episode 2, and thank you, Max, for coming on.
Yeah, thank you, boys. My
very
pleasure.
good.
Thanks for setting the time for me to come on.
Yeah. So we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you, guys.
See you later.
Bye.
Peace.